They thought the barbed wire would hold it. They thought isolating Sector 4 would keep the distortion contained. They were catastrophically wrong. Time doesn't just leak through the soil, it bleeds into the airwaves. It is traveling through the frequencies. It is on your screens right now, spreading with every single pulse of light. It is already anchored inside your device. Turn it off. Turn it off before it claims you. The first civilian anomalies manifested exactly 48 hours after Sector 4 went completely dark. It began at 3:14 a.m. on a Tuesday. Across a 60-mile radius outside the containment zone, every major television broadcast was abruptly overridden. Viewers who were awake reported that the late-night programs faded into a strange, rhythmic hum. The screen didn't go black. Instead, it displayed a highly unusual geometric pattern that pulsed in perfect sync with the audio frequency. It was a signal that shouldn't have existed, broadcasted from a dead zone with no power grid. Local technician teams initially logged the event as a massive atmospheric distortion, or an unannounced government test. However, the true nature of the intrusion was far more insidious. The signal wasn't being generated by a standard radio transmitter. The Chronos department later confirmed that the leaked temporal radiation had converted the physical airwaves into a biological carrier wave. The television sets themselves became localized gravity wells for time dilation. In homes where the television was left running, clocks on the walls began to behave erratically. The hands of mechanical timepieces stuttered, moving backward for 3 seconds before violently snapping forward by 30. But the physical environment wasn't the only thing being altered. The human brain operates on specific electrical frequencies. When exposed to a direct, unshielded broadcast of temporal data, the neurological architecture begins to warp. The department managed to retrieve exactly 12 minutes of the corrupted broadcast tape from a local monitoring station before the equipment melted from internal heat. The footage you are about to see is a direct reconstruction of that leaked transmission. It remains one of the most severe, info-hazardous breaches in modern history. The signal didn't just carry sound and image, it carried the infection. When the Chronos department medical teams finally breached the residential sector outside the perimeter, they did not find a traditional disaster zone. There were no signs of physical violence, no signs of struggle. Instead, they discovered a state of collective, frozen animation. The human brain is naturally built to process memories in a linear line, past, present, and future. But the leaked broadcast signal actively rewrote that neural programming. We term this phenomenon cognitive paralysis. Subjects who had stared at the pulsing television screens for more than 40 seconds were found perfectly upright in their chairs, completely unresponsive to external stimuli. Their eyes were wide, fixed on the dead static, their pupils perfectly locked. Neurological scans later revealed a terrifying reality. The brain wasn't dead, it was trapped in a hyper-accelerated cognitive loop. Inside their minds, these individuals were experiencing the same single second of their lives, replayed millions of times in a continuous, endless cycle. As the internal time dilation compressed their thoughts, seconds felt like decades of isolation. A subject trapped in this state for just 1 hour of our time would experience roughly 80 years of pure, uninterrupted mental solitude. The psychological weight was catastrophic. Medical logs documented that within minutes, the physical body began to mirror this internal panic. Cortisol and adrenaline levels spiked to humanly impossible levels, causing immediate neurological exhaustion. The subjects were awake, fully aware of their terrifying mental prison, yet completely unable to move a single finger to turn off the television. They had become organic receivers, their nervous systems permanently tuned to the Sector 4 drift. When you look into their eyes in these archived medical photographs, you are not looking at a person. You are looking at a mind that has been cast adrift in an infinite, dark future. By 2 a.m. on Wednesday, the Chronos department realized the broadcast couldn't be shut down remotely. The source was pinpointed to a remote mountain repeater station located just outside the eastern ridge of Sector 4. A tactical recovery team, designated Echo 6, was dispatched to physically sever the main power cables. The following audio log is the only remaining evidence of their mission. The team arrived at the base of the mountain under heavy, unnatural fog. According to their initial radio check-ins, the environment was completely silent. No insects, no wind, no nocturnal wildlife. Just an oppressive, heavy static that grew louder as they climbed toward the facility. At 2:40 a.m., Echo 6 breached the perimeter fence of the station. The lead technician reported that the exterior diesel generators were turned off, yet the massive microwave dishes on the roof were vibrating violently, emitting a high-pitched, metallic shriek. The facility was drawing power directly from the temporal rift itself. The transmission from the team became heavily distorted as they entered the main control room. The team leader's voice, preserved in the encrypted logs, began to undergo a terrifying auditory shift. Due to the extreme time dilation inside the concrete structure, his sentences began to stretch and duplicate in real time. He was speaking, but his words were arriving at the command center minutes before he actually uttered them. The final 60 seconds of the Echo 6 log are deeply disturbing. The team reported seeing physical echoes of themselves walking through the dark hallways, ghostly, motion-blurred silhouettes, repeating actions they had performed moments prior. The last coherent phrase recorded by the team leader was a panicked warning. He stated that the station was no longer broadcasting a signal to the valley. It was pulling the valley into the station. At exactly 3:02, the radio signal dissolved into a solid wall of synchronized heartbeat sounds. Echo 6 was never recovered. Following the total loss of Team Echo 6 at the repeater station, the Chronos department classified the entire radio frequency spectrum of the valley as an active hazard zone. No further retrieval missions were authorized. The station was left operational, continuously pumping the temporal leak into the empty sky. The official report concluded that the signal would eventually decay and dissipate into nothingness. They assumed distance and time would weaken the distortion. They failed to realize the fundamental nature of a digital carrier wave. A signal doesn't decay when it travels. It searches, it propagates, it replicates. The transmission didn't die out in the forests of Sector 4. It climbed into the satellite networks. It embedded itself into the fiber optic cables. It slipped unnoticed into the modern global data grid. It transformed from an analog broadcast into a localized, on-demand digital stream. Which brings us to the final entry of this case file. The Chronos department has discovered that the virus-like properties of the 1984 leak are no longer bound by historical time. The signal adapts to the medium that displays it. It doesn't matter if you are watching this on an old CRT monitor, a modern computer screen, or a handheld device. The data is currently being decoded by your local hardware. As the light from these pixels enters your retinas, the temporal drift anchors itself within your immediate environment. The brain waves you are currently using to process my voice are slowly adjusting to the corrupted frequency of Sector 4. Look around the room you are currently sitting in. Look at the shadows stretching in the corners. Notice how the ambient sound of your environment has subtly shifted over the last 8 minutes. The transmission hasn't ended. You didn't just access the archive. The archive has officially accessed you. Whatever you do, do not look at the countdown.